Hi guys, welcome to the 2019 Tour de France Stage 6 recap. Wow, what an incredible day as expected. Um, Probably not as decisive as I thought it was going to be, but definitely we have a couple of favorites lose the Tour de France today, right? They're just simply too far. Um, just a horrible, horrible day in the mountains. Mountains all day long, from about 20K on all the way up to 165th kilometer. Um, so very brutal route. I got my cheat sheets right here. Went on a ride today in the morning. Did like 25 miles, and I'm starting to see the difference. A little bit stronger now, and I got on a scale, and I was 3 pounds lighter than last week's, which is a good sign for our challenge of getting, in a better shape um, by the end of the tour. So hopefully you're riding out there and you're doing better and you're losing weight and getting in shape. Um, Back to the stage. What can I say? As expected, a break goes early. People are fighting to get into a break, and a couple of guys that I had picked made it to the break. Xandro Matisse, right, the guy who was trying yesterday to get those sweep those points that were available, got into a break and was competing as expected for the mountain polka dot jersey. Another person that I expected was Tom Wellens, right? He got in to fight and defend his leadership in the mountain jersey. A couple of other guys that it was really good to see. Ciccioni got in the break. The Giro d'Italia winner of the mountain jersey. I didn't expect him to recover in time, but it seems like he has good form. So he was out there fighting, and he could possibly go, to compete for the overall polka dot mountain jersey all the way to Paris. And then another guy, De Ghent, the old school breakaway specialist, was visible today and got into the break too, along with Dylan Tunis, a strong man that we know from winning stages and climbing super hard and steep hills. He did well in Dauphine Libre. I remember him winning a similar kind of a stage. Maybe the climb back then was about 3 kilometers, but it was super steep with 20% pitches. He did it in the Tour de Pologne, right, back in Poland. And I remember him winning that stage like over Micah. So, he's kind of like a specialist from slightly shorter but super steep climbs. So, although I kind of forgot about him and did not pick him to make the breakaway, he was definitely one of the strongest of the 14. Um, Fight for the mountain jersey kind of continued for the beginning, the medium of the stage, right? Two category ones, one category three, in one category two. Tim Wellens got the most of it, the best of it, followed by Ciccioni and Matisse. So those three seem to be in a fight. By the end of the stage, I think Wellens had something like 40 or 44 points. So he's kind of solidified that lead, and it's going to be interesting in 2-3 days of time to see those transitional stages that this year are harder, full of category 2 and category 3 mountains, and to see how they go on, right? They may actually take a break tomorrow, but we'll get that in our preview of stage 7. Um, you know, the 8 minute gap that they got quickly. One team cannot really control this stuff, right? Cannot really control a break of 14 because it's like, Quick Step puts like 2 or 3 guys on the front, try to ride, and then, there's 14 guys up front. Obviously, they have an advantage. No other team would commit early, right? So no other team would help Quick Step, which, this was the reason for 8 minute gap. And ultimately, this was the reason for the yellow jersey change today. Um, they got to category 2 climb, the one that was one before the finish, right? The category 2, the one that also carried a climb time bonus, which proved to be extremely important, right? And it had that kilometer at 16%. It was only 3.5 kilometers, but had a 16% pitch for the entire kilometer. And Thomas DeGant, poor Thomas DeGant attacks. You can see it actually in the recap of the stage. And like he hits that kilometer, he just all of a sudden, boom, just kind of like almost like stops. It's that steep. So, I think he definitely may have looked at the profile, but he probably just kind of overestimated his strength, and he paid for it very quickly. And what was really surprising to me, right, was that at that time when they hit that climb, the moment that they hit that category 2, that steep kilometer, Walt Pools, the main captain, the last guy supposedly to drop off from the INOES train, all of a sudden just drops, literally almost stops. So I don't know if this was just a bad day for Walt Pools, but it was really surprising to see him, to see him drop this early. I mean, before Moscow, maybe he was, sick, but it was surprising to see him drop this early, especially when he was doing really well in Delpien. He won the final stage. So, now the questions, are starting to come for the Team INOES. Okay. Ciccioni gets the 8 seconds on top of the category 2. Now they can only descend to the bottom of the Planche de Belle, but that 8-second bonus proved to be critical because that was the difference in the end between Alaphelippe and Ciccioni, right? So this is how critical these bonuses are when we have 6 of them coming up. So I think they'll play into even the overall classification. Unfortunately for the American viewers, I was very disappointed to see TJ Van Garden drop off early on category 2 climb on that steep kilometers, and it just really sucks because we deserve to have a really good American representation in the tour, and this year it's kind of light. Maybe there's like 4 riders, and I think the sport is just really popular in the U.S. And I hope this changes, but this year it's kind of light, and TJ Van Garden was like the greatest hope, the greatest American hope, and he drops off early. He drops off even before the start of the Planche de Belle. So he drops off. He chases back on the descent, and he makes it back on the lower slope before being just jettisoned back again. But good fight for TJ, but slightly disappointing for the American hopes. The moment the category 1 starts, right? The moment the first slope of Planche de Belle starts, who goes off the back? Dylan Van Baarle, another INOES guy, another guy that should have been there almost to the end, right? So now they're missing 2 main guys that they were hoping on, to kind of like springboard Bernal and springboard Geraint Thomas. So now I think that we have to start asking questions. Is the Team INOES as strong as the Team Sky of the past years? Right? I mean, if you have 2 main captains drop off early on and they're just not even competitive, will that be an issue on a 20-kilometer or 30-kilometer climb that will come in the Pyrenees and the Alps? So hopefully that was only one day. It was some kind of maybe stomach bug, but Planche de Belle is 7 kilometers. So they will definitely burn out, and Geraint Thomas will definitely need the team to control the race, otherwise it'll just blow to pieces. All right. at the bottom, I think on the top even of the category 2 climb, Movistar comes to the front. They go over the second category climb. They drop down to the bottom of La Planche de Belle. By the way, I think my pronunciation is a little bit better. I'm not there yet, but a little bit better. And who comes to the front for the Movistar? What a disappointment. My pick for the day, Alejandro Valverde, comes to the front. Right? I mean, do these guys play fantasy? Right? They sacrifice Alejandro Valverde to go up front to destroy my fantasy day. I'm expecting a call from like a movie star here. I mean, I want those directors sportifs to call me up because of my fantasy day screw up. They send him up front, and the moment I see him working, I already know. I mean, he's going to drop off. My pick for the day is over. I kind of got lucky because the breakaway guys kind of survived to the end, so that kind of that kind of made me not lose a lot of points in the fantasy, so that was good. But still disappointing for Movistar, right? But they did sacrifice Valverde, whatever the choice was made before the day. They definitely going with Landa and definitely going with Quintana. Valverde was leading up to for a 4 kilometers, right? On a category 2 climb, you had 4 guys come up front from the breakaway, drop everybody else, but they were expected names, right? Wellens, Tunis, Ciccioni, and then who was the last guy? In Matisse, right? Those 4 guys hit the bottom slope, the Planche de Belle. And Valverde dropped after like 2 or 3 kilometers. He went to the back, and Kwiatkowski, the lone survivor of the INOES team, picked up. That guy you can always count on. He seems never to kind of have a bad day, right? So he was the guy that kind of fill in the shoes a little bit, but I'm still worried about the team INOES. He led for about 2 kilometers, and then Valverde came back for a little bit before he dropped off for good. So again, Team Movistar deciding to sacrifice Valverde's chances for the chances of Landa and Quintana. Then Warren Barguil does his the champion of France does his one of those suicide attacks where he just attacks. He was in trouble on category 2 climb. Actually, he was in trouble kind of all day because he crashed a couple of times. And he goes attacks on a steep slope, and then he gets 50 yards before he's dropped. He's caught by Kwiatkowski and dropped again. So kind of like a suicide attack. And then, of course, the Movistar tactic, right? Valverde's work releases Landa. Landa attacks. It looks like a brutal attack. I mean, the guy flies up that mountain and he gets 15 seconds pretty immediately, right? So initially I thought, Landa attacks. INOES is not in a good form, right? You got all these guys from INOES dropping. Nobody is there to chase. So it looks good for Landa initially. Up front, right, there's 4 guys left. Ciccioni and Dylan Tunis leave the other 2. Wellens is just tired. Good for him. He gets 40-something points in the end. So he's the best guys out of the breakaway. Maintains his polka dot jersey. And then the man of the day, Alaphelippe, attacks to defend his yellow jersey, right? There was a minute and a half between Ciccioni and Alaphelippe. So Alaphelippe attacked to defend his jersey, and he kind of takes Geraint Thomas with him, right? like Alaphilippe attacks and then Geraint Thomas attacks after him, and that drops our first major favorite on the climb. That drops Bardets, right? He, gets in trouble immediately, and remember, he lost 1:25 in a team time trial. So this is like starting to be not only a no-no for a final victory, but almost a no-no for top three as well. Up front, Tunis wins the stage. He drops Ciccioni right at the end, right? They get on that gravel road where there is like 24% slope, and it looks crazy. There's like a left turn, and it goes like 24%. So the end was, just the end. That last 100 yards would that the differences were there. The 10-15 seconds, that was the difference in the stage. So I thought it was going to be a little bit harder in terms of the teams pushing from the bottom. Geraint Thomas is on the attack. Alaphilippe goes, catches Landa. Geraint Thomas inches closer. And then behind, Thibaut Pinot, the real French hopeful, attacks and like inches closer to Alaphilippe and Geraint Thomas and Landa. So good on Thibaut Pinot. He seems to be in a wonderful, wonderful form. Now, I think it was like 1:25 that passes. Finally, Thomas makes it to the line, Geraint Thomas. And then Alaphilippe comes, and then like 2 seconds later, Pinot comes. And then QUANTANA loses 7 seconds, right? But, he's up there too. And so are there. Bernal comes next. He's at 9 seconds, right? So he loses 9 seconds to Geraint Thomas. He seems to be struggling, right? I really think that he still will come to his good, but he struggled on that steep climb, right? He didn't attack as expected. Other favorites lose like 9 seconds. Martin loses, Dan Martin loses 14. But then Steven Kruijswijk loses 30 seconds. So that's a major time loss. Now, Ciccioni, because of that category 2 8-second bonus, right, gets the yellow jersey. So Alaphilippe falls to second. He's 6 seconds behind. Geraint Thomas, though, who seems to be the biggest winner of the day, gains 9 seconds on his rivals, right? So when you do the math, he's 5 seconds now ahead of Bernal, 5 seconds ahead of Thibaut Pinot. So not as decisive as I thought, but it was, certainly a surprise to see. I don't know if it's a surprise or not, but certainly surprised to see Geraint Thomas up there. And he made a statement today. Not as big as I thought, but he definitely made a statement that my form is there. We'll see what happens in the Pyrenees. All right, day's winners, right? There's only one person, right? Geraint Thomas. I thought he was going to struggle. I think everybody else thought that Bernal is just going to solidify his lead by like 30, 40 seconds. He showed off that he was in a good form, and good for him. And he attacked on the final gravel road, and in that 125 meters of 20% plus, he gained like 9 seconds on Bernal, who was struggling. So definitely a winner of the day must be Geraint Thomas, because he must be feeling really well. Pinot, Thibaut Pinot, right, and Julien Alaphilippe definitely must feel as the winners of the stage. Alaphilippe is only 6 seconds from the yellow jersey. Tomorrow is a flat day, but the next day is all about attacking. It's bunch, like I think it's 8, like category 2s and category 3s. So he may try to steal that 8-second time bonus on the hill, or he may try to like get it somewhere at the finish. So I'm expecting that he's going to get back into yellow jersey in, maybe 2-3 stages. Quintana, I thought, did pretty well. I think, it was a positive result for him. He only lost 7 seconds, but he was up there. Richie Port, right? Lost 9 seconds, but, again, proved that his form is there. Hopefully he doesn't crash. But he proved that his form is there, so he was right up there with the guys. Obviously, Ciccioni in yellow, Dylan Tunis, a stage winner, and Tom Wellens in a polka dot jersey. These guys must be feeling good tonight. Jakob Fuglsang did pretty well too. As far as losers, we definitely don't know who will win the Tour de France, but we also, I think, know by now who will not finish in the top 3 and who will not win the Tour de France. And the one major favorite today that lost a lot of time was Bardets, right? He lost 1:10 in the end to Geraint Thomas. He lost a minute to other major favorites. He was already 1:25 behind after the time trial. So right now, the guy is 2.5 minutes behind Geraint Thomas and something like 2 minutes and 20, 2 minutes 15 behind the other favorites. Where is he going to gain that? All right. It's not like he has a super strong team either. And remember, before we get into the decisive alpine stages, we have a 27-kilometer, I think, individual time trial. He's going to probably lose a minute and a half there. So that's up to already 4 minutes that he has to gain back in the mountains. So barring a crazy attack from far away, I think Bardets is done for top 3 and as a candidate to win the Tour de France. Another big loser today, I think, was Steven Kruijswijk, although he only lost 30 seconds. It was his yellow jersey to get, right? So I think Steven Kruijswijk is probably maybe my 10th to 15th place pick in the end. So I don't know if this was a huge surprise, right? If you lost 30 seconds. My other kind of kind of loser of the day was I don't want to say that because these guys are so good and they're just at the top, the pinnacle of the sport. Was TJ Van Garden. I was really hoping for him to get the top 10 this year, and he lost like 3 minutes. So we'll just have to see. It's a long race. It was only the first stage, but hopefully TJ can catch back, gain time on the breakaway, maybe get into one of those transitional mountainous breakaways and on those stages and gain the 3 minutes back, and hopefully he can finish in top 10. What else? I think one question that I would have was Team INOES. Although Geraint Thomas and Bernal did pretty well today, I think that we saw a major crack in the INOES team. Hopefully it's only one day, but I'm thinking right now that Dylan de Barle and Wout Poels losing time and just dropping so early is going to be a major issue for Team INOES. I think they only have Kwiatkowski that's in a good form to control the race, but one man can't do it for the rest. So the question leads me to this thought leads me to a question. When the time comes in the Pyrenees, right, will Team INOES, seeing that the other two, Van Barle and Wout Poels, are not doing well, will they sacrifice one of their team captains, and which one will it be? All right, we'll have to see. We'll have to wait for the longer climbs. We'll have to see how GT does on the longer climbs against Bernal. But this is going to be interesting to see if INOES continues to struggle in the mountains as a team, if their helpers continue to struggle, will INOES make a decision to kind of sacrifice one of their leaders as a super domestique? So will they have to like take out their backup plan and just put their hopes on one guy? I think with that we have to wait to at least the first or second Alpine stage, just to see what happens there. But it's going to be interesting because remember, Geraint Thomas is much better time trialist than Egan Bernal. So he'll probably gain a minute, if not minute and a half, on Bernal. But fortunately for Bernal, the time trial comes after the Alpine stages. So we'll there's going to have to be that decision should Team INOES continue to struggle. What else? What else? Alaphelippe, I'm expecting will get back into a jersey, not tomorrow, but I think the next two stages, so tomorrow stage 7, stage 8 or 9, I think he'll get that bonus, that 8-second bonus, or he'll try for a sprint. I really, there's one guy that I haven't talked about that really did well today. Emmanuel Bookman from Bora did really well. Lost only 9 seconds, but was right up there with the favorites. So I'm kind of like waiting for him to see what he's going to do in the coming days. I want to see what he does in the Alps, right? But, at first mountain stage, he did pretty well. Richie Porte's confidence, all right? That must be higher, right? I think he answered some questions today, at least the initial questions. So I think Richie Porte is must be feeling a little bit more confident, and I think Trek feels a little bit more confident about his chances too. All right, Movistar, the tactics, right? I think that's the last thing. I think I think today at the NBC broadcast they actually mentioned that today. That Movistar keeps going on this like suicide tactics, right? They they go up front and they lead the chase, and then one of them really attacks, and then nothing comes off it. I thought that Landa's attack initially was going to be successful, but they kind of clawed back to him. So now they have sacrificed Valverde's chances. All right. I thought that they should have waited for INOES to kind of just go back, right? Kind of like Kwiatkowski to drop off and then just look at their chances. I think they worked a little bit too hard today. So they sacrificed Valverde. They send out Landa, right? Landa attack looked good, but then failed initially. And how many times have you seen this from Movistar in the previous two Tour de France's? So it's going to be questionable, but I think Movistar in the Alps may use Landa as the option for a long, long attack, because although they have seen that Geraint Thomas is strong and Egan Bernal are strong, they have seen a major crack in INOES's armor today if it comes to mountain climbers, if it comes to the support guys. So I think one of those mountain stages in the Alps, I think Landa goes off in an early break, or he goes off a little bit earlier than usual, and they just keep Quintana, for safety as the last option. It was lovely to see the Podium Girls. All right. I got to say the Podium Girls are just absolutely beautiful, and I think my favorite are the yellow jersey ones. I think we all as fans look forward to see the Podium Girls, and I think the riders are pretty happy too. So definitely one of my favorites. All right, that's it for the Stage 6 recap. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep on riding, keep on getting in shape. Stay tuned for my Stage 7 2019 Tour de France preview, right? Where I preview whether there's going to be a break tomorrow, whether they're going to make it, or the sprinter teams will chase it and it'll result in another fast men's sprint. Not many chances left for them. If you liked it, hit like. If you want to continue to get the news, to watch this fans channel, right? Hit subscribe. I'm going to be doing videos every day. I'm going to be previewing the stages, upcoming stages, and I'm going to be recapping the stages that we had. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So thank you for the support, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, thanks, guys.